Hello, my name is Cath Edwards and this video is part of community group Folks Kindful Cafe project, sharing the folklore of Shropshire. Get yourself a cuppa, watch and join in with us by posting on our Facebook page. Today I'm talking about the song Green Gravel and how Mary Webb uses it in her novel Precious Bane. Green Gravel is mentioned by Charlotte Byrne in Shropshire Folklore, A Sheaf of Gleanings, and it's a song but also it's a children's game, and it's an odd little game. It's a circle game, so you sing the song and you hold hands with your friends and you all move around in a circle, and each time one child has her name called out, and in some versions of the game that child has to turn her back on the rest of the circle, still holding hands, and the game continues until everybody is facing outwards. In other versions of the game, the child whose name is called steps outside of the circle and she covers her face either with her hands or with her apron, and it rather looks as though this game is some kind of a reenactment of mourning. In fact, some people say that green gravel is actually a corruption of green grave. Well, we first come across the song Green Gravel in the book Precious Bane when Prue and her older brother Gideon have met with their friend Jancis. Now at the time they're all in their mid to late teens, and it tells you something about how much younger people were in those days because they're debating which game to play. And Jancis wants to play Green Gravel. And Prue notes about Jancis that she is small and very pretty, and she prefaces everything she says by going, "Oh." And Prue wonders, quite shrewdly, whether it's just a habit or whether it's because when she says, "Oh," it makes her mouth look like a little rosebud. But Jancis, quite an innocent creature in the novel, wants to play Green Gravel. But Gideon refuses. And Gideon wants to play Conqueror. And Gideon gets his own way, as he does in much of the novel, with a number of circumstances. And Gideon conquers Jancis in the end, in more ways than one. Well, later in the book, Jancis and Gideon become engaged, and so there is a love spinning. And a love spinning is when the friends, the women and the girls of the neighbourhood, they get together and they sing songs and they eat cake and they play games, but also they spin, so as to give the bride-to-be a good start in her married life. Well, Prue and her mother are making their way to the love spinning, and they're carrying their spinning wheels. They're bringing their small spinning wheels because on this day they won't be spinning wool, but they will be spinning flax and hemp. And when the company is assembled and they're all spinning, Jancis starts to lead the song Green Gravel. And it's got a lovely rhythm to it. It's quite a good song to sing if you're spinning. Green gravel, the grass is so green, the fairest young maiden that ever was seen. They washed her in milk, and they dressed her in silk, and they wrote down her name with a gold pen and ink. And everybody joins in with that song. It's one that they all know. Well, later in the book, there is a disaster, and it's a member of Jancis's family who is responsible for the disaster. I won't tell you what it is in case you haven't read the book yet. But the disaster affects Gideon terribly. So much so that he breaks off his engagement with Jancis and he shuns her, even though she is by now carrying his child. And there's a very sad little scene where Jancis and her mother, her father being in prison, Jancis and her mother have to leave the area in a cart, and Jancis is so overcome and distraught by her rejection, by Gideon's rejection of her, that she's lying as if she's dead on the floor of the cart. Well, time passes, and then the next May, Jancis comes to the door of the house, the farmhouse where Gideon and Prue are living, and she's dressed in white, and she is terribly pale, and she is carrying a tiny, pale, weak baby. And she tells Gideon that the baby is his. And knowing Gideon quite well, she tells him it's a boy, and so the boy can grow up to help him on the farm. The boy will be of some use. But Gideon is unmoved, and he rejects her again. And when Gideon and Prue are busy about the farm, poor Jancis, she takes up her little baby and she walks to the nearby mere, the lake, and she walks into the lake with her baby until she drowns. Well, time passes, and Gideon keeps thinking that he sees Jancis and her baby on the farm, dressed in white. And then one evening in August, when the heat of the day has caused there to be a thick mist over the lake, and the mist is twisting itself into weird and strange shapes, Gideon believes he can see Jancis walking towards them. He believes he can hear Jancis singing, green gravel, the grass is so green, the fairest young maiden that ever was seen. They washed me in milk, and they wrapped me in silk, and they wrote down my name with a gold pen and ink. And although Prue can hear nothing, Gideon is sure that Jancis has returned, and he leaves the farmhouse. And where he goes and what he does, well, I will leave you to read that for yourself in Precious Bane, a book that is full of incident and drama and folklore. Thanks for watching. So please leave a comment below and look out for the next in this series of videos that were made possible through National Lottery community funding. Bye for now.